8, and this is TGIF, or Thank God It's Finished. And it hasn't been too long. It's been about 11 days. I was here on the 1st, so my track record's a little better. Although I haven't had nearly as much knitting time as I generally do with the move. But I'm here. And I do have a couple things finished and things going on, I guess. I don't know. The number one thing that's going on in life is the move. I'm looking at my studio, and if you know anything about my studio, which you may or may not, in front of me used to be a wall of yarn. My wall of yarn is not there anymore. My studio is completely demolished, except for what you see here. This is going next. And is moved over to the other house and partially set up, partially still in bins. Just working out how everything's going to work. I think some of it's going to stay in bins for a little bit because there's some furniture downstairs that I'm incorporating into the new studio, and we're not ready to move that yet, so we're just in flux. But don't worry, I have plenty of yarn. I did keep this as here. That's all my sock yarn, so I have that at the ready at all times. And then I kept a couple other odd and end skeins so that I can work on something whenever I need to. Not to mention, the other house is literally 5 miles away, and I'm there almost every other day, so if I need something, I can get it. For instance, there's something I have been wanting to, there's something I want to make. It's called the Fairy Leaves Dress. It's a free pattern from Yarnspirations. My friend Terry just knit it. It's gorgeous. And I didn't have any sport weight yarn here, so the last time I was up at the other house, which was yesterday, I grabbed sport weight yarn, so I can do that. What else is going on? Yesterday, Kristen had an injection in her hip. She has arthritis. There's a whole bunch of medical terminology that goes along with it, that totally escapes me right now. But my brain is kind of mushy with everything. So she was in a lot of pain yesterday. She had the day off, thankfully. We just kind of relaxed around the house, didn't do any moving stuff. The only thing we did was go to the other house because her dad was watching Max, because he can't be left alone with the epilepsy. Well, he can't be left alone yet. We're not comfortable yet. So that's what's going on. I don't think much else. Moving, and moving. I had mentioned that this move is not a bad thing and it's not a stressful thing, but it is definitely an emotional thing. A lot of you out there warned me that this was going to be emotional, and I knew it was going to be emotional, but there's some days that I'm just like, yeah, this is great. And there's other days when I'm like, but we started our life here. So, yeah. Yeah, it's been a little bit emotional. We're just about done going through the basement. Now, I need to mention something about this house. When we moved into this house and all its contents. So, everything in the basement is not ours. Behind me, see this door here? That's the attic. That's not ours. So, we are sorting through bunch of things that don't belong to us to decide what needs to be trashed and what is going to be donated. Thank goodness we found a charity that is going to come and pick everything up, and they sell the items to raise money for people going through cancer treatments, to help them get to and from cancer treatments, and living expenses, stuff like that. So it's kind of kismet. But there's a lot of stuff to go through. A lot of stuff. Kristen's grandmother, her mother's mother, was a very meticulously clean person. Behind the scenes, not so much. She was clean, but say this is a coffee mug, and this coffee mug got broken, and she replaced the coffee mug. She would take the new coffee mug out and start using it. She would take the broken coffee mug and put it in the box of the new coffee mug and put it in the basement or the attic. It's all still there. For instance, in the basement, underneath the steps, was what I referred to as the vacuum graveyard. Now, we don't have curbside trash pickup here. We also do not have access to a dump in this town. So we have been working with Tom to take everything to the dump because the other town has access to a dump. We have access to hiring someone to take the trash away, but we don't have the ideal driveway for that. So, long story long, or short story long, we didn't quite know what to do with all these vacuums because we couldn't just put it in the trash. But thankfully, vacuums are recyclable. Thankfully, because at last count, I have removed 12 vacuums from the basement, 1 carpet shampooer, 2 carpet sweepers, and a myriad of mops. And I was so excited, and I said, "Oh, all the vacuums are out of the house." And then I was downstairs doing laundry, and I looked to the left where our artificial Christmas tree that we put outside is, and there is another flipping vacuum. I couldn't believe it. So, the basement is almost empty, other than what we are giving donation-wise, and a few things that we are keeping in our washer and dryer. So that is almost done. Next, we tackle the attic. The attic's going to be a lot easier because we're just getting rid of it. Unless it was something from Carol's childhood, we are getting rid of it. Or photos. We're going to keep all photos. Anyway, you didn't come here to hear me babble. What have I been knitting? Like I said, not a whole lot, but I do have a couple things. I have 3 things finished. I've really been, any minute I can get to knit, I'm knitting. Generally, I can knit for long stretches of time, even just in the evening after Kristen gets off work, but I haven't been able to do that in a while. Right now, my knitting time is about from 10 o'clock till midnight because Max gets his medicine at midnight, and any few minutes I can squeeze in here or there. But I have finished a few things. The first thing I finished was the One Love shawl, and I knit it out of some fully spun yarn in Rose Dream, which I believe Brooke said this color is discontinued, I think she said. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's gorgeous, and this yarn is amazing. It was amazing to knit with. It blocked amazing, and it looks beautiful. It's so soft. This is, what is this? Fingering weight, BFL. It's gorgeous. So here's the shawl. Oh, how pretty is that? It's about just under 5 feet long. This is a paid-for pattern by Susan B. Anderson. It is linked on my Ravelry page. It's a great little single skein shawl. Not a lot of people have knit it, but I don't know why, because it's a really nice shawl. And easy to wear. So for me, that makes it ideal for like gifting. So love it. Love it, love it. This is not for me. However, there will be one for me out of some fully spun yarn in the very near future. Even though I don't wear shawls, this is the type of shawl I would wear. It's so pretty. This is a great shawl for an adventurous beginner. There's garter, there's stockinette, there's some interesting increases, but nothing too complicated. Highly recommend. Oh, there's some eyelets. So, highly, highly recommend. Adaptable to any yarn you have. Highly recommend. This video is going to be a beast to edit because I keep coughing because it's not spring, it's sprinter. I don't know. It's warm one day, cold the next, warm one day, snowing the next. Anyway, the next thing I finished was the Clara dress, which I believe you can only buy in print. If I'm incorrect, I don't know. It is linked on my Ravelry page. I knit this out of Knit Picks Stroll Glimmer in the Peacock colorway. And here it is. This is the small size. This took just under 2 skeins. And it's gorgeous. It's all blocked, nice and drapey. My favorite baby pattern. I could knit this 100 times and not get bored. Love it. So pretty. In fact, maybe knitting one of these again soon. I don't have anybody to give this to, but if all else fails, I can bring it to the hospital. So pretty. I wish this was like grown-up size. Wouldn't I look cute? So there's that. And it has a button in the back. I used this button, which actually, this button came off of some clothes I found in the basement that were Kristen's grandmother's. It wasn't the buttons from the actual clothes, it was the buttons that they sew on the inside, and it matched perfectly. So I used it. I like these, this type of button on this dress. I just think it looks really classy. Okay, and the last thing I finished, this is actually a lot of knitting considering. The last thing I finished was a pair of socks, and it was out of the Young Yarns Rainbow Stripes, left over from my pair of rainbow socks, and I also used a pair of Hawthorn in gray, but I do not know the colorway of it, and unfortunately I do not have the ball band with me. This is the ball that I was using to knit the socks. This is the heels and toe ball, and these are for Kristen, and I just put one stripe of the rainbow in there, and I love them. They're very 80s-esque. I think they're awesome. She likes them, and everybody's happy. Win, win, win. Win, 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 win. I don't know how to show these without sock blockers. I'm like, first time video. No, that doesn't look good. Anyway, finished her rainbow socks, and as you can see, I still have this much. And then from the main ball, I still have this much. This is probably enough yarn for shorty socks. I should weigh it. It might actually be enough for another pair for myself because I have small feet, but I don't need a second pair. So this is going to keep going. I'm going to do some more stuff with this because I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I don't know if I mentioned, I don't know if Young Yarns is still dying. Terry gave me this yarn when he came over 2 years ago. Yeah. So, 2 years ago, when we went, the last time I went to Rhinebeck? Yeah. I'm thinking of going to Rhinebeck this year. I'm trying to convince Kristen that we should drive the RV down and spend the night or 2 nights, and, yeah. I wish I could convince Terry to come over and RV down with us. Terry? I don't think that's possible for another few years, though. Okay. That's what I finished. There's been no progress on my chevron mittens. I still have my 2 long-term projects, the Northeasterly, which I haven't touched, and the Scrappy Happy Blanket, which has gotten some love. And I'm working on, currently, the Broken Rib baby pattern, which is the front, which is the back. This is the front. This is from 60 Quick Baby Knits, one of the 60 Quick Knits books. It's pretty. It's knit out of Bernat Baby Sport. This color is Baby Denim Marl. I think that one ball will be enough, but I'm not sure. Let's see if it says what book this is in. I just made a photocopy from my book, so I don't know which book this is in, but it is linked on my Ravelry page. And that is all I'm working on currently. I do have some plans. Next up, I'm going to start these socks, which is some Opal Rainforest. This is the Tiger colorway. These are going to be for a friend. And I need to start those because I have a gymnastics meet this weekend. So I need to take those with me. And otherwise, I'm just going to try and work on some small projects that are easy to pick up and put down because, as I said, my knitting time is very, very limited. Very limited. I mentioned last week that there was a new LYS opening. It's called Norwich Knits. And I went over with my friend Doreen, and as promised, I bought a skein of yarn. I wanted to buy 4 skeins of yarn, but I bought one. And I had never seen this before. This is called Cascade Yarns Luminosa. It's 52% viscose, 44% baby alpaca, and 4% merino wool. And the color is 10. And yeah, that's what it looks like. It has a gray halo, and then like the teal is like, it's shiny. It's not sparkly, it's shiny, and it looks like the teal is chain plied in some way, and it's beautiful. I don't know what I'm going to knit with it yet. I think there's probably 220 yards here because it's a worsted weight cascade. 240 yards. 100 grams. So I don't know what I'm going to knit with this, but it's really soft. I'm thinking maybe a hat. I'll probably zip around on Ravelry, see what other people have knit with it, and then decide. I just want to make sure it's going to wear well if I'm going to make a hat, because if it's not going to wear well, it doesn't need to be a hat. It can be something else. In the bin. Okay. That is all the yarning. My foot's asleep. But last week I asked you guys about if you could only knit and crochet with one yarn weight for the rest of your life. Oh, my foot is asleep. What would you pick and why? And I said fingering weight. And a lot of people answered 2 weights, one for crochet and one for knit. No, it was really interesting to see what people said and the reasoning, and it was a lot of fun. I got so many comments, and it was so much fun to see what everybody said. So my question for this week is, no matter where you are in the world, if you could go on a road trip, probably in an RV, where would you go and why? I'm going to try and answer this again without coughing or clearing my throat, but I'm extremely stuffy and dry, I guess. I don't know. Can you be both? I have been thinking about this question for several months now. We are going on an RV trip in the nearish future, and there was a list of places that Kristen and her dad wanted to go, and they asked me where I would like to go, and I didn't know. I have been all up and down the East Coast. I have been to northern and southern California, and otherwise I've been to the airport of Texas in terms of in the United States. I did come up with, I've always wanted to go to the birthplace of the Girl Scouts in Savannah, Georgia. So I will be doing that. And there are a few people that I'd like to meet up with around where we're traveling. So I will be doing that. And otherwise, I'm just really excited I've always wanted to go on an RV trip. I really couldn't care less where we go. I love camping, although an RV isn't really camping, but I love the idea of being on the road and, yeah, as long as I don't have to drive the RV. I should say that. So yeah, I would love to hear where you guys would go because I need to come up with more ideas. And I would love to hear where you guys would go. I did mention I'd love to take the RV out to Rhinebeck um, this fall, which I think will probably happen. Um, I don't know where else. Um, I'd like to go to some attractions, but that's not going to happen this year. Like, I would love to go to Dollywood. I would love to go to Graceland. Um, there was somewhere else I wanted to go, which I can't remember where it is now. Oh, I would love to go to the was it the Biltmore? I can't remember what it's called now. I wrote it down yesterday because I was watching something about it. I don't know. I'd just like to see the country without getting on a plane. So, all right, I'm going to stop babbling. I'm going to go start editing all my coughs and sniffles out of the video. And please tell me down below where you would go because I would love to hear. It can be more than one place. It doesn't have to just be one place. But if you could go anywhere, like you could road trip anywhere, where would you go? I mean, my honest answer would be I would just drive around and meet a whole bunch of knitters and crocheters around the country. But I have to be considerate of the people I'm with or the people driving me. I can't just use them as my chauffeur. So, all right. I am going to say goodbye for this week. I'm hoping I'll be back next week, but we'll see. Maybe 10 days, maybe 7 days, maybe Friday. You never know. Probably when I finish something, I'll be back. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys are doing well, and until next time, bye-bye.